Hello. A simple method for revision which has served me well in the past. This will encourage you to focus on your weakest areas and mix things up a little bit from just doing past papers. You can, of course, test yourself with this method as well. So what I'm going to suggest is, let's say we've got a specification, right, with several statements in, and perhaps there are chapters. So, for instance, mechanics might be a chapter, electricity might be another chapter. Let's take a sheet of A4 paper for each of these sections. So let's copy and then paste a couple just to show you what I mean. So there's another one, and will it let me do another one? There we go. So there are 3 sheets of paper. Now, my method is, for each section of the syllabus, each chapter, identify the statements which you are weakest in, or which you look at and think, I have no idea what that's on about. So that won't be all of them, but what you do then is you can date and then put a title, mechanics, at the top of one sheet, and then add those bits, and only those bits, in some kind of concise form. So write summary notes. You could do a mind map, including those bits that you don't know. And you could do the same then for electricity on a different sheet of paper. So you're not making notes on every single bit of the syllabus. You're picking the bits that you don't know and writing some notes using a combination of your textbook, online, printed, written notes in class, to make some very concise revision notes. You can then use these pages as a reference while you do some past paper questions, as you have been doing, and past papers. And of course, doing the past papers, you'll revise all the bits that you already do know well, naturally. But at least now you'll have some sheets or some materials which are focusing on the bits you don't. Let's say then we get sick of doing past paper questions. What you could do is take this sheet and then cover it up and try to fill in a blank sheet of paper with as much as you can remember as possible. So it's a bit like testing yourself with it, not using past paper questions, just by covering up and trying to recall the information, then compare it to what you had on your original document. So that's one method. Testing yourself is widely considered to be one of the most effective methods of revision. What can you do then? Well, imagine you have all these sheets, these A4 sheets, one for each topic, with the bits that you didn't know. Towards or closer to the assessments, what you could do is look back over these and think, right, what do I still not know? And hopefully it's only a small number of these points that remain, right? You might have 1 or 2 things on every sheet. What could you do then? Well, you could then put this all together into a single sheet or on a revision card. Now, this final set of concise revision notes would perhaps contain a small number of things across many topics which you still don't remember or understand. They might be definitions, they might be equations, they might be diagrams. Then you can use this one sheet as a reference for the remainder of your, practice using past papers. What I did when I was at university is take this final sheet and then literally have it with me on the day of the exam. And I'd keep on looking at it with these little bits that I still didn't know, and then get rid of it and go into the exam hall. Now, I'm not advocating cramming. That's the bin that I put it in just as I went into the exam hall, because obviously you can't take in materials into an exam. I didn't cram. I actually had quite a methodical way of doing this. Note, I'm not just writing notes on everything. There's very little point in repeating the writing of notes for things you already know. But this method means that you focus on what you don't know while still doing lots of past paper question practice. It's just to mix things up a bit. So hopefully that might be of use to some of you. Many of you will be doing things like this already. That's it. Have the rest of the Easter, and see you soon.